for that society to differentiate who to join with or who to work with in a way of saving the Ugandans. What Santos is trying to say, that when people are infiltrated everywhere, if you try to join them, you're going to just break what you're joining. It is as my observation, but I want to add on Santos's idea of people joining, opposition joining. Can people understand that this one and this one is supposed to join this, and this one is this one, we are not supposed to join this one? That is where we are supposed to put analysis, observation, and then we test ideas. Then we can understand, does opposition coming together save us, or is it going to destroy us? So in Ugandan circumstances, soon I have a question. Is the opposition coming together, all of them together, is it going to save Uganda, or is it going to destroy Uganda? For the many times Museveni has ruled us, in your observation. And
just one second before you go. Already Uganda is spoiled, so I don't know what you're talking about destroying. Already it is destroyed. And then the other thing, we have never seen them unite. So let them unite. If it's destroying, let them unite and destroy, because we are not seeing even what they are destroying. Genda maso seven. Okay. Because I didn't want to, I wanted just to summarize, because does their unity destroy? What is there to destroy? Already someone has ruled you for 40 years. What is there to destroy? There's nothing even you are saving that they want to destroy. What have you built? There's nothing you have built, because someone has ruled you for 40 years. Then the other point is that there has never been unity. Can we see unity and see maybe, how do you say that unity cannot bring change when we have never had any? You try it out. Some people don't want rejection. They can let the girl reject you to manage to rejecting, but don't fail to take a move. So we can't take a move because it will end in tears. Watch away. Take a move. So you will never. If you fail to try, then you are not doing anything. Try. You get. So because like we shall always be having those excuses. We can't unite because of this. We can't unite because of. Have you ever united any time? The first time those people were going to unite, it was the TDA. And I've tried to explain the thing of TDA. Because of the same thing, the FDC people didn't want Kizza Besigye to join the TDA. So I don't want to know whether it was genuine or not, because I don't want to judge Dr. Bukenya and Mbabazi and all that. But they came out, and in coalitions, whether someone is fresh from government, and he says, "Me, I want to work with you," you take him up. That's the same thing that happened in Kenya. To manage Uhuru that had put up by the right Odingas, the Kibakis, all those people, they united, and many of the ruling party, but they said no, we don't want him. So they stood, and so try it first, and then say, okay, it doesn't work, we have tried it. TDA tried. The FDC young people, they removed Dr. Besigye from the meeting, and someone was sharing me a photo. Dr. Besigye was in the meeting, and when I hear Dr. Besigye, I had him and said by 2016, he had given up on elections. So he was just there to appease the FDC members. That's why he never even had a lot of effort in 2016. 2016 was just a by the way for him. He said that during his press conference at Katonga. That time, I think he had hosted NUP, and I don't know what was the occasion, but I've tried to listen to politicians to analyze what they think. Dr. Besigye by 2011 had given up. He said he had given up on elections. By 2006, he was pushed by the FDC members to stand as a president because the FDC didn't have a candidate. Mzee Tuyambe, and that's the same thing that Mzee Tuyambe, and for him he was not. His own words. following the details, but he said that. And then he said that by 2006, so when they took him to TDA that had Nobati Mao in DP, that had Bukenya, that had been dropped by Museveni from vice presidency, they had also Gilbert, these Mbabas that had been dropped from government as prime minister, humiliated and embarrassed by NRM, so he thought maybe he could stand. And then there was other people, and then that, of course, FDC as the leading opposition party at that time. So that was a big force at that time, like a big force. Like if it had united together, you don't know what it could mean. Oliotia Ndibulonji, please just text the message because I can't respond. But okay, so it happened like it was difficult for people to trust each other. That's why the FDC young people removed Dr. Besigye from the TDM meeting. Muzei, bagenda kujako, you are not going to be the one standing. You better come and stand alone. So they removed him. The young people in FDC thought that the TDA was going to appoint Amama Mbabazi to stand for presidency. When TDA puts Mbabazi as the president, the members of FDC, the youth brigade, think that this won't represent the opposition, what is the standard of the opposition according to them, and so they removed him from that. This is not just my story. So many, even Kakwenza has even talked about it himself. Nyanjira has talked about it himself like that. So they didn't trust Mbabazi, and they say Mbabazi was NRM, so they could not see their leader lying behind someone that has just come from NRM. So my point here is that they always in opposition there have been mistrust, and there have been deliberate efforts for members of the opposition not to unite. Dr. Michael even yesterday tried to highlight what happened in that meeting. TDA, he said he was in TDA as a youth leader, but then he was bounced by Mugisha Muntu that he was a mole. Dr. Michael I think is a northerner. He said he was bound by Mugisha Muntu from that meeting, from TDA meeting, that he was a mole. Uganda. So like, so it is that you don't trust me. Yes, we will never work together, and we will be ruled by the person who benefits from that division. No problem. Seven has benefited from that. You fear to unite with someone because he's a more, because it doesn't work. You think like that. The man is you are losing some energy, and the doctor said that there is a feeling when someone calls you more, like you lose all your energy. If you have been offering 80% or 90%, 100, and someone calls you more, like you start seeing yourself like you are not supposed to be part of that, and then you lose the energy. You start offering 10%, sometimes you withdraw. Other people close to the ruling party, others just leave, and they just ignore. They just ignore if they're not so much. So, like he explained to that, the effect of mistrust in opposition. So, Mukasa, as you come back, opposition working together, will it spoil? What is there to spoil? Already there is nothing, because already we have been ruled for 40 years. What are you sparing? There is nothing already. So, and also the other point is that, okay, let's see. We have never seen any unity. The first that was coming in 2006, the first that was coming in 2006 broke down. Everyone ran on their own. Mugisha Muntu didn't run. Sorry, this Besigye ran, and then this guy who Mbabazi, he was defeated despite being supported by DP and all that. But you don't look at the votes that those two got, but you just look at the force, because someone will say, still Museveni won them. No, you just look at the force, collective force. A rally, a political rally that have Mbabazi, that have Dr. Besigye, that have Mugisha Muntu, that have Nobati Mao, who else? Is not the same rally that have only Dr. Besigye, or is not the same rally that have. Okay, I've even forgot to include. This he utilized the disunity most of the areas where FDC was strong and all that, election materials came at 1 or 2. For us, we voted like we had to wait for election materials by 1 or 2, 206. My first time to vote, my first time to vote a president, I wanted to vote. And then election materials came at 2, So, like someone will say, okay, does their unity also even create anything? I'm not talking about only the ballot box. I'm talking about the confidence and also the unity of the voters and also the action of the Ugandans. The voices, the action and all that may not be the same. When they still here alone, no one will care. It is your business. What big or no, what FDC. It's none of the other one's business. As other people will be just waiting to swear in and MPs and all that. Others are just, campaigning for their political position and all that. But if there have been a unity, probably you will find that there's a collective voice taking action together. Last time they didn't block Dr. Besigye's home in 2011 because he was not a threat to them. They didn't even bother. They only blocked Bobi Wine. On election day, after voting like this, he went home. He was blocked, not moving out. They never blocked other people, So that means I remember during walk to work, the government had to block like 5 homes. They had to block Besigye's home. Mugisha Muntu. I remember one time I was in Kolo and I saw them taking up. Mugisha Muntu had managed to leave his home, and then they took him. They blocked like Lukwago's home. There was another political figure that time. So like they were scared of like 5 leaders. So it gave them a lot of headache. It gave the state a lot of headache during walk to work because they thought maybe everyone would just follow them. If Mugisha Muntu managed to reach town, it can pull the crowd if they are managed to contain Dr. Besigye. So there is that force that you get. Ate abaganda bagamba agala gegalu menyama, like if the amanyo gali close nga oyina mangi nga toyina malibu, you can eat the meat. Ate oba oyina malibu you can't. So we should push. We should stop having the Malibu, and here having Malibu doesn't mean that the one opposition party cannot win Museveni. No, they have been winning. Besigye has been winning from 2001. I don't say to convince me that he has never won, which I believe the only time that maybe he never won, that was 2006, because the election material really didn't vote 2016. That one I don't think he won because the man made sure that he bring the materials late, even winning and all that. There was no need to overturn the results. So, are you there now, Mukasa? Mukasa.
Yeah.
So you have got my response to your question.
Ogambye tubigezeseko kubanga tetubirabangako.
Tobirabangako ekitegezo bigezeseko then nekirala. What is there to spoil, Mukasa? What is there to spoil? Sigamba nti mutubale tukyusa obuyinza after every 5 years or 10 years, we have never changed. So what is there even to lose? There is nothing to lose. So bwembeera defender nzija buzi kulumba bulumbi, because I know bwe missing okugulu ate sinja kwasa ki, nja kwasa omutwe.
You aim for the stars, when you miss then you fall on the moon. So okay, Suna, let us test ideas. We have how many speakers now? Tulina George, let us give like each speaker who is ready that if we want to join opposition, what could be the ideas? What could be some of the reasons that we should base on to join the opposition? Can we test this idea for now for people who are in space? Can we test that idea? So if Dr. Sedan Nyanzi is here, if Dr. Stella Nyans want FDC or the other one that made by what was that faction of Katonga, if
PFF.
the PFF, if they are supposed to come together with FDC, with the NOP and with DP or anything, what could be the reasons that we should base on? Me as a speaker, you sooner, and all the listeners or other speakers, can everyone put up some of the reasons that these people should join because of this and this? Or if we are to join, we should base on this and this? Can we have that as observations, as testing ideas? Then we find out, we try to see what the ideas that we've tested, what can it be? The common ideas that we should consider.
Second time hearing you that you voted at 2 p.m. The blame is not put on the disunity, should be the electoral commission. Of course, we don't have an electoral commission, but that is the fourth time. That's the fourth time. That's why I said 20. I don't feel so bad in 2016 because like I said, it had happened three more times. So this was a fourth time. Dr. Wesley had been rigged. So he won in 2001. He won in 2006. 2011 he won. And then he gave up. In 2016 it was just a by the way. So he even doesn't talk so much passionately about 2016 election. I just brought it as a point that there was some part of a plan by 2015 for politicians to unite. The fact that we have not had any unity, any coalition, is a question of why. Why? And I blame opposition. I blame everyone. I also blame those who were there before. The same way I'm going to blame you in 2030 for not doing something in 2026.
James,
yes, Mukasa, again.
I wanted to ask you that if you ask why, you actually don't have the answer to that question. Why we've not seen the
because I have been giving my points.
Wagambye twebuza kati
yeah, because mwebuza Mukasa obadde njogera nekugamba Mukasa oyagala kwana muwala okitegeera ate tomugambako ate onotandika ogamba ba guys mbwanganya tannakugaana. You have not tried. Okitegeera
oyinza okuba you're reading between the lines.
No, abawala abakazi abo si bangu olumu begiragira naye ng'okitegeera naye nga bonogaana omugamba ajja kukkiriza naye nga gwa just weetaddemu akatengo mbubi simanyi agenda kugaana. How? Try, mugezeeko olabe. So for me that is my answer. Like I can't refuse to do something that I've never done. If it has worked for other people, I'll try it. When we are talking about matched power, everyone was saying they are going to kill you, they are going to kill you. So we say, okay, let's try, then we see. Because if you say they are going to kill us, when will we ever do it? When? Because everyone will tell you, this can't work. Okay, what can work? This can't work. What for you, what do you think will ever work? And how do you intend to implement it? Singo muntu agamba this one will never work. This one, so what will ever work? There's no magic thing in Uganda that this one is going to work. Even when I'm talking about the opposition unity, I'm not saying that it's going to remove the government. But I'm saying that, okay, we have not seen it. Can we see it at least for the first time we see Bigenda BTR? What is your fear? Why do you have fear? Ochitegera. Why do you have fear for something that you have never tried? For me, that's my concern.
Yeah.
Sigaman tubadde safe for the last 30 years. Nti tubadde tukyusa obuyinza, one political party, one political leader akyusa obuyinza. It has not happened because system tugimanyi. So Besigye yesimbawo emirundi esatu strongly ng'awangula. Okitegeera? Ne batamulangirira and all that. So I'm not saying that like unity again bagenda kutulangirira, but what happens nga abantu begasse ne batabalangi, I want to see that because sinakirabako. Okitegeera? Sinakirabako. I want to see that. Otherwise, I'll still say the same thing. If there's no unity, I'll still say the same thing ankyali mulamu in 2030.
So
njagamba kintu kyekimwera kye nayogera in 2011. It will be the same thing. But nalibadde njogera kintu kirala in 2030 singa beegasse nenga okay lulyaka lubakabba nga beegasse kati wano statement yange ekyuse, but it will be the same if there's nothing. So genda maaso eno bwemukasa.
So James bwa ogamba ife abannayuganda oba abawagizi tugambe ba leaders baffe mu bibiina begatte, oba you are sending the message to the opposition parties to come together? Is it us to push the message, or those people should come for the message, the leaders?
Yeah, like of course, even the concept of unity also start from the feeling of the people that want to unite.
Yeah.
Sometimes the pressure mounts from the supporters, and then it reaches them. Agamba, you know what? Twagala tubalabeko nga mukola kino, like that. Sometimes it is them that push, but for this case, the people have a lot of power. You can actually push. I believe that Ugandans can even push their leaders because. For me, when I look at the way how much Parliament went, we had so many colleagues from FDC and even colleagues from Anti and NRM. That means the people cannot unite on a common cause. Because Ugandans can unite as long as they see that something is common. If the common cause for all opposition supporters is to change government, so they will support even the unit of their leaders. Like George said here, that there is a message that you send when they see you working with another person. You get. Temwina kubeera nga muna mwambadde navy blue na white white strips nga mugenda campaigning nga mwina mwambadde red beret what. No. Let us see those who are having papa aba anti nga bali kulale yemu. What message do you send to the people? Even what force do you send? Do you exert on the state? You know? Yeah. So for me, that's what I'm saying. That even you yourself, Mukasa, your voice, what. Normally tubeeramu muno n'abantu abali connected ku parties, so like that. But I know
nga basobola okutuusa obubaka. Actually oba oli wano ng'oli connected certain party oba executive of any party, osobola okututuusiza obubaka n'obagaba bayayime mwana tubagala muli wamu. So James, have you seen some of the mistakes of some parties trying to come together, like in a recent politics or in a recent coming together of certain people?
Repeat that question,
have you seen
please.
Some of the mistakes that has happened when some political parties come together?
In Uganda?
Yeah.
Because I've never seen, so that I can't. I've never seen political parties uniting.
We had some coalition sometime back. Coalition yali move go forward. Go forward yali.
It didn't work.
Yeah,
you can't call it a coalition when they didn't float one politician when one presidential candidate.
You observed the reason why it failed. Or you saw the
Mukasa, I was speaking, maybe you were driving. I told you. I told you the reason why it didn't unite, and me, I'm using my own analysis from what I've heard. Even yesterday, Dr. Michael talked about it. There was mistrust, and then some young leaders from FDC never wanted Dr. Besigye never wanted Dr. Besigye not to appear on the ballot. So in Uganda, there are people who are considered that they must be on the ballot.
Yeah, so now James, do you think that narrative or that idea in Ugandan's mind that this one is the one who is supposed to be, is it erased now, or we are still having that?
No, what my point is, there are people. If I'm your leader and I don't have the same view with you, you'll have to follow what I've said.
Yeah. So
yeah.
all
of
the work should be on the leaders of the party to sit down and say now it's not the followers, it's not the supporters, it's not Ugandans, it's the leaders who are supposed to save us in the coalition or in the unison.
Yes.
Are you seeing our leaders? Are you seeing our leaders of today as leaders who can do that in your observation?
So I don't want to judge them, but I want to see that. I want to judge them in 2030. Yes, I want to judge them in 2030. But not that I didn't tell them. I don't want to be in 2030 speaking things that I never said. Because I never said these things in 2011, 2016. I never said them in 2021. So I'm taking this opportunity to say the things that I don't want to say again in 2030. So by 2030, I should be having another reason, because ekyokubaka lucho tukimanyi bakabba. So bakabba. But then I'm saying that, okay, on top of okubaka lufenga fabali mugun tukozeewo ki. We are supposed to protest. In 2011, did you go to the street to protest? Yes, did you go to the street to protest? So now you have to study the issues that happened in 2021 and 2011, because 2016, I'm talking about just the coalition. But when I talk about Okubakalu, I can say in 2011 and 2021. 2011, Dr. Besigye announced walk to work against, because the Yachtegedent Akalu Bakabye, Nekoti, Nemukuba Busu, and all that. So now Geza Kokola walk to work. And that is the same time where the Arab Spring were starting. I think that is July. So in his mind, I'm reading his mind, he thought he can use the charged population to take over. I mean, to support. The walk to work were normally led by him alone. And so other political parties, other politicians outside his political party never stood. That's why sometimes, I felt even Oyo Matthias Impuga, not of, but I even posted this before when he was a leader of opposition. He agreed with Dr. Besigye to be the head of Walk to Work, national coordinator of Walk to Work, because Besigye had been a leader, so he never wanted to take the leadership, so he gave it to Matthias Impuga. They launched Walk to Work. Dr. Besigye launched it in Katonga. This man was supposed to launch it in Masaka. That means if they were shaking, this one shakes Masaka, another one is shaking Kampala, hoping that the population would stand, because Masaka had a lot of opposition supporters and all that. But the idiot never even went on the street. He never went to the street. So we're talking about two aspects here. Bakubi Agalu, and you think of using the mass uprising, coinciding with what was happening that time, the Arab Spring and all that. But it never worked. It never worked. So here, let's talk about something that we have never seen. So let us talk about something that we have never seen, so that by 2030, we are talking something different into, okay, kino tukigezezaako, kino tukigezezaako, kino tukigezezaako, we have tried this, we have tried this, we have tried this, we have tried. That's, for me, that's my point. Because I know, I always tell Sarah, my friend, that no, we are going to be here. Say, I will be there. I will still remind you. Yeah. You know, this is what I said in 20. We never tried it.
Okay. Kakati nga tujiemu byokwebuza. So let us talk about actually unison. Let us try to make everything as in Uganda. Ugandan political parties, leading political parties to come together. We have actually brilliant mind in our country. If we put everything aside, if we put the mall on our Kolanono, on Arianegon, if we put everything aside, if our leaders actually sit down and unite, if you're seeing the Segonars, the Mugisha Muntus, the Nyanjula, the Winnikis, the Bobi Wine is the Joel Senyonyi, the Dr. Messages. If you put those people in one flying pan, when you want to fly them, you can fail to fly them. If you pick one by one, you can actually fly them. So let them help us. Now let us look at their job of saving Uganda. If they want to save us, the only thing that has never been tried, as you're saying, sooner, is political parties coming together. Let them see the message of the people. The message of the people is we want change. We want to change. We don't care about who is the leader, who is this one. We just want to change. And the change we want is a change that can save us. Because we actually need a savior. And the savior can be those people. A savior, one time we had a space and I told you sooner that the society of Uganda is leaders that is disappointing it, or is the leaders that are going to save it. Our society, as you see it, sooner you've moved to Uganda, you know our people can only be saved by leaders, can only be saved by political party leaders. The people who are fighting one another, people who are making different political parties, not to save, not for a common cause, just to fight another political party. If you're forming something, you're saying you're fighting, you want Uganda in a good governance, and you're forming a political party to fight another political party, you're disappointing Ugandans. You're actually selling your people. You're the only savior Uganda has. I'm talking about I'm talking about the elites. I'm talking about the people who can read and understand, the people who have traveled. Because I'm very sure every political party leader have moved out, have ever traveled outside Uganda, or they have ever traveled it overseas. They have seen, they have studied. Most of the political leaders of Uganda have studied political education. So now some of you, or some of the people here, have never studied the political education because it was removed from the syllabuses of Uganda. So most of the political party leaders of Uganda have studied the political education. So they know Ugandan history, they understand the political arenas, they understand the economic arenas, they understand the society of Uganda. They know what Ugandans are capable of and what they are not capable of. So Ugandans cannot understand, cannot differentiate between an oppressor and the oppressed. Go akoze a statement soon anogamba nti abantu abamu bali oppressed but they don't know, or they don't want to believe that they are oppressed. Very many people, very many millions of them, Uganda, don't know that they are oppressed. They don't know that to go in a clinic and you don't find the Panadol there, that is an operation. For them, they don't know. They will just tell you, akalwaliro kawo tekabera na Panadol. That's what they say. They don't know when floods come and destroy their houses, they don't know that it is operation. For them, they are just going to tell you, I have girls here. Nze mu Saudi Arabia mbera n'abaana bana Uganda. Abaana bana Uganda bwogenda n'obagamba ebintu n'owulira enziramu gye bakuddamu neweewuunya n'okwewuunya n'ogamba omwana nti agamatabo galaba. Ba Museveni be bavunaanyizibwa kufa okwo. Omwana n'akubuuza Museveni yatonyesa enkuba. Those are the questions n'Abannayuganda bafiira mu matabaze balina. The very same questions. Nti mbona omusajja munaamuwaayiriza buli kimu kyonna. Naliko lumu ku Nabugabaawo nali nkulosinga waliwo kabanka bakayita Bank of Africa mukazimbe bakayita uniform. Nali nsala nga ngenda kujjayo ndi nsale ngende ku boost eyo ku William. Na omukyala yaseerera n'agwa. Yaseerera mu ngatto n'agwa. Ne mugamba situkawo maama ebyo Museveni yabireeta. Everyone who listened laughed. But it was a joke. But if you put it in general, inti akabuga ekibuga kyali kitonye, enkuba yali etonye kati ng'ekibuga kitobye. Ekibuga kya Uganda bwe kitoba, bw'oba otegeera owino n'enkuba ezisa so wino kikuubo oba otegeera kikuubo n'enkuba ezisala nga ziyita mu kikuubo. Ekibuga bwe kitonya kikuubo afuuka made ayina bw'afaanana. So enkuba yali etonye, omukyalo ono yaseerera lwa nkuba. I made a joke nti situkawo mama tofaayo naye Museveni yabireeta. It was a long time ago. But I was inze natandika dda okuba nga ndaba ensobi za Museveni n'ebisigadde. Naye in general terms ebintu ebisinga ebiri mu kwapeninga mu Uganda bivunaanyizibwa ku bad governance. When a system dies, it kills everything and it kills even the people. So everything, every death that we are seeing in Uganda is responsible of the people who are leading us, who are ruling us, because they are not leading. So Ugandans don't know, most of them don't know that actually it is the reasons of the bad governance that are putting them in the miseries we are in now. So we are sending the message soon. Let us send the message to the political leaders. Let us tell them that you people sit down and save our country. The people, you see, we want people to make an uprising. We want people to wake up. But some of the challenges, some of the biggest challenges of any uprising that has ever happened on planet Earth is happening in Uganda. We have all of the challenges that can hinder an uprising. Most of our people are not connected to the internet. I don't know which percentage is connected to the internet. Leaving internet aside, all our people, they can't even access network. Like if we wanted to call someone in Bulambuli, in Ngoli Kampala, uyinza okutulainga for 2 days, 3 days nga tomufuna, ninga akugambe simu yange yabadeko. We have some of the greatest challenges abantu zetutalaba na kulaba nti Ugandans, most of them bakola they work for a day, bakola mmere ya leero. So omuntu akola emmere ya leero, omuntu atagenda kubanga alina fridge mu nnyumba nti asobola okubaako akamere kabanga alina nkasobola omuvuga for 3 or 4 days, tosobola mugamba na uprising. Abakazi, omukyala eyakubwa essasi ku 18th and 19th Mathaka, oyo omukyala yali avuga emmere, a mother of 3. Oyo omukyala okwekalakaasa kwali kumuyingiridde mu lunaku. Because singa bataze mu kibuga kuvuga mmere eyo, kujijja ku Kampala Road kubako gyagikiriza kasoma we kumutwalira mmere, tagenda.
Mukasa, you're off. Mukasa, we can't hear you. Mukasa, you are off. Simo, you requested for the mic, but you dropped. Please request again if you still have your points. Mukasa, we can't hear you still there if you want to speak. Request again. Of course, we are talking about George. I don't know if you want to speak. You just let me know if you want to interject, if you have something to speak. But yeah, as Mukasa comes back, we're talking about the unity of the opposition, especially during election time, working together, having a common goal, and fighting together. For me, like my personal view is that I need to see something new, something different from what I've seen. I was a young man, very young man when in 2001. So I'm not a young man now. I've grown up, but I started following Ugandan politics when I was still in my mother's womb. So by 2001, I was there. I saw. I used to run. Young people run to those rallies. I used to see those rallies. I used to follow the news, the TV, the radios. I used to have my radios. So I followed everything. I've also followed 206. I saw the biggest rally that I've ever seen in my life at Makindye when Seya came to campaign for Dr. Kizza Besigye in that huge truck that had a mipira grader that took almost like 3 hours for Dr. Besigye to move from Kibuye police station to Wali Kugombole Machindi. 2011, I even didn't vote because I arrived. I arrived at thing late. I bankumis obulwa NRM ngakyali student like that. Just njagala kulya sente ng'enali like I wasn't so much. Yes, ngandaba byokulonda is none of like ngambivuddemu. 2006 I was actively involved. 2011 I was actively involved. So for me, when I draw my own conclusion, it is based on my personal observation into the elections in Uganda. I believe without any doubt that opposition are winning. They have been winning every time, but they have not been declared because the electoral commission Aziz Kasuja or your engineer Bani Omulala and then Gatako Nono who Byabakama, they don't have the power to announce the president. They just have the power. They just have the powers to declare Museveni. They don't have powers to do that. And so the Dr. Besigye have been robbed 3 times. For me, I believe 3 times. I don't believe 2016 he won because Tetwarunda Nakulonda no. So 2016, no. So if he won 3 times, yeah, that means Museveni has been won 4 times. 2011, 2021, defeated completely. No Lutebabala about ballot papers bazisula. I saw in Western Uganda ballot papers they have been disposed there. On the just election day, bamazo mulonda obala ballot papers bayinoziteka mu box ne bazisiringa to be used in the case of any petition. They can be recounted and all that. But in Western Uganda, election materials ballot papers were just dumped, ticked, but they have been dumped. So like Kasasiro, they don't have any. So I really believe that in 2017 never wanted any ballot paper. Like already the results were on the computers, just waiting to be announced, the figures. So they announced, the outcome announced. So we are going into 2026 with the same electoral commission, with the same candidate, and also with the same, maybe with more voters probably this time. But what are we, for example, as people that want to see change? What are we changing? Yeah, that's the difference. For us who want to see change, what has changed in us? That's the question. What is new that we are going to do different, that we maybe have not been done before? That can be something that we can ask ourselves. Asima, you are back. I'll give you the mic. I believe you have some network issues, so you can speak. You can try to utilize your time.
Okay,
Asima.
thank you, my brother. Hope everyone is hearing me.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I thank everyone who is here. I thank you for your efforts that you are putting on board so that our country can be liberated from this regime's rule. Uh, Mr. You were talking about your like historical background. Even me, I remember I was so young, so young in 2026, in 26, and in our local area there were people who like candidates, that stuff, and I could run after the music system, dancing and what. So when you were talking about that, I was laughing. Yeah.
Akadodi.
Mm. So today as I was man, I'm doing exams these days, but I have tried to at least put it some few minutes so that I can come and say something. Uh, Today when I came, what was saturating here was our today's meeting about some of the political parties coming together to condemn the trial of civilians in army courts, and I think they have taken so long to come out and condemn this. However, when I saw the pics, like when I saw General Mugisha, Winnie, Doreen Nyanjura, and the Chaguranyi plus Joel Senyoin, what came into my mind was, can these guys combine their efforts the way how they have came out together today to condemn this thing, and in 2026 deliver the same thing? That is what came into my mind. Then also what came into my mind was opposition, like because some channels like NBS and what they were saying, some opposition parties have came together. And for me, I have always said that in Uganda, I think we have two oppositions. We have opposition that is against Museveni, and I think we have seen that today, like this of Mugisha, VSJ, and the National Unity Platform. Then we have the opposition that is against the opposition. The opposition that is there to fight the opposition. I think those are our friends that recently launched, like Democratic Alliance and what, and those. So it is a pity that majority of our of us, we have always we have failed to distinguish between the real opposition and the pretenders, those who pretend to be in opposition. And today, I think today was a statement for Ugandans, like to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. However, it does not stop from this level of distinguishing that this is the real opposition and this is the wrong opposition. Having distinguished, it is our role, like the way how you were saying, to demand, because they are our leaders. They lead us that you people as political parties in 2026, we need only one candidate to appear against General Museveni. And I think as Ugandans, if we come out in large numbers, if we campaign for that, our leaders, those who we believe in, if they think that they are leading us, they can actually put this thing into they can put this thing into their consideration. So that was my point, that as Ugandans, we should come out together, we should join efforts, and we try to encourage, try to convince our leaders to come together and give us only one leader, because we are tired. We are tired of candidates like, someone coming out saying that he is a presidential material, having contested, like, goes through the whole process, then at the end you see him like going in the courts defending the other side, which usually steals the election. So we are tired of that. I hope in 2026, you people, we shall see one candidate. Uh, Previously, no, it is today. I think you talked about the alliance, the coalition. Yes, coalitions usually work, but they work when they are combined of two groups, like people who understand what they want and those who are ready to deliver what people want. Like, we have so many political parties in Uganda. There are so many over 30s, but how many of those political parties really care about Ugandans? How many? They are few, if not like 2 or 1 or 3. So if you say that we should make a coalition, then you need to also analyze who are those who are going to make the coalition. Who are those that are going to support? Having made that coalition, who is going to lead it? It also matters. So those are questions that I think need to be answered. Hope with time they will be answered. But for me, I would say the only way to go and outshine this government in 2026 is through having one presidential candidate that is standing with the wishes and the desires of Ugandans. Not these things of having so many Katumba oyes on the ballot papers, like 15 and what. So we should get one candidate. Hope we have people here who can deliver our concerns to them. I think I'm done. You people let me go and do exams.
Thank you so much, Asimwe. Success in your exams, and thank you so much for your submission. And yeah, your message has been so clear. Sending message to those in political parties. Yes, as before even you go, let me just say this. For example, like you say, me, I personally cannot identify who is supposed to lead. It is them, those people, those leaders themselves. For me, if I have a political party, I respect my leader.
James.
Yes, George, please go ahead.
All right, thank you. So I've been following the conversation, and the contributions are quite very insightful. But for me, I feel like there is urgency for change, and Ugandan people cannot afford to wait for a reformed or unified opposition. I think we've seen elections have come and gone, and we've seen what has always been happening, and so much desired that we have a unity of opposition. And it's promising to see that leaders are trying to take that trajectory, but by and large, before they even unite as leaders, that is going to liberate this country. Because you see, the path to genuine change lies in transcending the limitations of existing political parties. It doesn't matter what political party you belong to. When you consciously understand the challenges of this country, you realize that it is time for a more radical people-powered movement to rise above the limits of the parties you belong to and deliver a free Uganda that we all want. So at the end of the day, we as the people need to ask these questions. As we beseech our leaders to unite, how are we preparing to take advantage of that unity, to prepare ourselves to ensure that we not only just vote, but come out in big numbers, protect the vote, that in the event of even any outcome, we don't need to wait for, let's say, Bobi Wine or Mugisha Muntu to tell us, go and protect your vote. You're willing to protect your vote because that's where our power is. So it's beyond just the leaders themselves uniting. We need to have a conversation that is going to inspire more people to realize that actually it's beyond just the leaders, because the significance of these leaders uniting is actually it helps us consolidate and solidify our power. That in the event that we have all leaders coming together in this trajectory, let's say Mugisha Muntu, the likes of Dorin Nyanjura, the likes of Chagulanyi Sentamu, Yasiru Kwago, all from different walks of life, it helps us to penetrate through different groups of people that can come and speak with the same mind. But by and large, how prepared are we as Ugandans to understand that this responsibility is entirely on us as a people, beyond even the leaders, because they can as well one day wake up and change. So what happens in the event of the day that they've agreed to unite, and then along the way there's a problem and they disunite? Does that mean that we stop hoping for change? Does that mean that our desire for a better Uganda has ended there? Absolutely not. So as we propel this conversation to inspire such an alliance that is going to create a strong statement in the democracy of this country, we the people must truly understand that the power lies with us, and it's us that actually make these leaders more powerful. So them coming together actually makes our job easier to inspire the change we want. But at the end of the day, we must stand strong and have principles and grounds that we are binded to, because we've seen some of these alliances trying to be forged in the previous elections, and at times realize they don't work out and they tend to cause chaos. So me, what I would think, we need to plan and organize as citizens, even beyond the electoral processes. We need to plan and organize, because you see we have very limited options in this time and day and age of trying to change regimes. And we've seen things happening. At the end of the day, when people are united, we saw what happened in Bangladesh. We've seen what has happened in Syria. Well, we all pray that this doesn't escalate to the level of violence as it's been escalating in some of these countries where there is exchange of fire. But when people understand the mandate they have, sacrificing to take control of this country. We are still young, energetic, creative, committed to this cause. Let's utilize our youthful ages productively to ensure that we amount to the change we want, because today we are going to be youth, tomorrow we are going to be the grandparents of this generation. And if we do not do enough to put up a fight to change this country, we're not only going to subject ourselves in our old ages to suffering, but also the children that will come after us. So there is a great task ahead of us, and this task must be understood to be the responsibility of each and every citizen. It is a time that we should all understand that there is nothing this NRM government is going to come. The previous campaign, they came with a slogan of securing your future. So these past 4 years are the future they were telling to secure for us. If any of you can certainly tell me that your future was secured, then please, you can go ahead and tell us. And as much as we understand these things, we still have a very big problem of civic awareness. Just like one of our colleagues has told us here, that even when you go to the places that are subjected to the abject suffering of the ramifications of this government, some people will ask you questions that are quite rather annoying. Like when someone asks you, is Museveni Atonye Nkuba? At times, it's simply because they do not comprehend these things as we do. So it's a mandate as well that we carry in this struggle, that as we pursue to go this way, we need to enlighten people's minds as much as we can. Start within your family circles, your old parents, your siblings, where you reside from, and slowly by slowly, the more we keep on lighting our minds, the time is going to come and we're unstoppable. Let's not think all these revolutionaries that we've been seeing in these countries like Syria and Bangladesh have happened in a nightmare. It's been a progressive process of people understanding the challenge ahead of them, and them understanding and appreciating that they have a duty to stand up and rise to the occasion so that they make their countries better. Until Ugandans appreciate and understand this, I know they do understand it, but they're yet to appreciate the responsibility they entirely have in changing this country. So this is something we should speak to. Let's not entirely give this responsibility to the leaders. Okay, what happens in the event they take power and also become like the very evil we've been talking about? So at the end of the day, we must mobilize people to ensure that we create a sustainable democracy, a sustainable leadership that even when things change, Uganda is on the right trajectory. Back to you, James.
Yes, thank you so much, George. Your background had, I don't know, your phone had some, but we had you. It's it's good. The government managed Uganda, and all things Mukasa was asking, what has kept us in all this is something that the government planned so well. They executed it. You keep people uninformed, keep them uninformed for years. Even social media network is data is expensive. No connection. When you go to villages, you cannot communicate. All that is deliberate, and it's aiming at keeping people uninformed. The only form of communication that people have are the radios. They'll get the radios, of which the radios are owned by the government, government people, and then you find like they cannot give the information that should be delivered. So the only information will be just to the few who can use social media. So social media should have been used as a tool to create change. Right now, data is expensive. If you're buying monthly, you need to buy at least 50K so that you can be able to use different social media platforms. Sometimes you end up not even finishing the month if you're using many social media platforms. Now imagine someone who cannot have 50K even for 6 months. He will not have a smartphone, and he will not have data. So he will not even make calls. So all this is deliberate. So our fight is big. Creating change in a country like Uganda needs a lot of effort, collective effort, people fighting from different fronts, using different spaces, a lot of things. So just everything is complementary. In a dictatorship, no single fight can change things. Just this one together, top up and create a change. Dada, before you come. Okay, Dada, please have the mic.
Thanks to all the people who have contributed. So I have listened to every participant. And for me, about political parties in Uganda uniting, it is something that is ideal, but realistically, if you look at how the regime has set up the political arena, it is so dangerous. It is there's a lot of mistrust, right from the public to of mockery. Every day we get to know the groups of the two distinct groups of people who are in for the fight, and those who are in for probably personal gain. And a perfect example is, you know, the DP bloc. They have been in the political arena for a very long time. Suna has been talking about, you know, him paying attention to, you know, Ugandan politics since he was in his mother's womb. I think I'm also of that same type. I have seen these people since 1990 something, you know, in political arena, claiming to be people who want to remove Museveni, but their actions, you know, right now have exposed who they are, and it is a task that the unity will happen when people inside political and smalls, or the more he buys properties, the more, you know, it is something that has, you know, helped Ugandans to overcome certain situations. People have had to unite and cause or upset authority at some point. So I think the DP and UPC wars, I mean battles in the 70s and 60s and 80s can attest to that. But I believe right now, probably Museveni was took, you know, a very good study of that, and he has made sure that, you know, the parties that he gives a permit, because we always have to remember that even when we're asking parties to unite, I don't think any of us is under the illusion that even if we get, you know, one individual standing against Museveni and we give him, you know, 95% of the votes, those votes we all know that will not count at the end. I believe none of us is under that illusion that a vote that uniting one individual and we vote them, you know, could you know, upset Museveni. But I think all of us are into the idea that these elections are only going to be used as vehicles, because definitely they are flawed, even just from the start. You know, you cannot you know, put your fingers around you know, especially the position of president. Soon as said, in his view, 2016 is the year probably they did not tamper with the result. But in my view, every single election that Museveni has contested in his, you know, tenure, when he's, you know, the one with power, have always come with a predetermined result. Like, they don't even take chance, even when they know that they're going to win. You know, just like Suna said, probably then, because of their tactics, they could have eclipsed Besigye and FDC, but because of the fear, trust me, and the you know, the fact that they know inside them that they are not real people, they're not genuine, they have always cheated, and they always go into every election with a predetermined result. You know, they try to use the fake media, just like you've said. Most of the radio stations are under their command. The TV stations, same. And, you know, they create narratives and stories of how, you know, probably they have lost Buganda and now they're, you know, in charge of, you know, they are powerful in Acholi now. You know, the NRM is, you know, strong.